My husband Stuart and I will celebrate our 40th anniversary in 2 weeks. Quite an achievement in Los Angeles, don't you think? And over 40 years, we've worked together, building our business together. I don't suggest you try that at home, but it has worked for us. But we've also been fortunate enough to be involved in many philanthropic efforts, such as the Resnick Exhibition Pavilion at LACMA, and I hope you go there often. It's really wonderful. There's great shows at LACMA. The Sustainability Institute at Caltech, which is even more important now as we see climate change taking over. You don't have to applaud. I have gifts enough from doing the work. And also the Resnick Neuropsychiatric Hospital at UCLA, where I hope you never have to visit, but it is a comfort to know that it's there. I asked them to rename it the Resnick Home for the Extremely Nervous, but they wouldn't do it. So in all these gifts, we invested in people that we believed in and had confidence that they would spend the money wisely, incorporating values that we both shared. But 3 years ago, in a moment of clarity, I decided that my philanthropic efforts had to be much more hands-on. I believe in furthering other people's visions, but I thought it was high time that I had a vision of my own. And I wondered what would happen if I focused the talents that I learned in business, but put them towards the philanthropic efforts. And I wanted to know every level of society, not just the society that I traveled in, and I wanted to understand California and keep my philanthropy close to home, just like all of you do. I didn't have to look far to find some of the direst conditions in America right in our own backyard, in the Central Valley of California. How many people in this room know where the Central Valley is? So, since I'm sometimes asked to speak at public events, I made a personal commitment that I would enlighten people about the Central Valley every time I had an opportunity and talk about the great people that work there and live there. The Central Valley is huge, and it's mainly agricultural. It has more than 44,000 square miles. There are 6.8 million people that live there, and 3,500 of them work in our plants and orchards for wonderful pistachios, the cuties that you see today, and those great pomegranates that are just in season now. The quality of life in the Central Valley for a large percentage of the people who live there is heartbreakingly difficult. Compromised air and water, abject poverty, and low-performing schools. We have many initiatives in the Valley, including the fact that we give a college scholarship to every child of every employee who has a grade point average of over 2.8. Thank you. We've built a preschool and a high school, a charter high school, and we do a lot of education programs and health initiatives and so forth. But I have just one happy story to share with you today, if I can have your attention a little while longer. 13 miles from our big pistachio processing plant, we discovered a little unincorporated town called Lost Hills. 2,500 people live there, 99% of them are Latino, in 500 houses and trailers. Why the interest? We did a research study there and found out that 41% of the households had at least one individual that worked for us. Lost Hills is a microcosm of many of the small towns in the Central Valley. Poor living conditions, lack of community infrastructure, education challenges, a disinterested government and law enforcement, health and safety issues for families and their children, and little hope for the future. So 2 years ago, we formed a group called the Central Valley Leadership Project. And working alongside the people in Lost Hills, we determined what they wanted for their community. They told us, we didn't go in with a preconceived idea. And we figured out what they needed to grow their society. And I'm happy to report that we've had tremendous progress in instigating really sustainable change. We transformed a once dilapidated public space into a 10-acre park and community center, which has a basketball court and a volleyball court and a new soccer field and jungle gyms and a playground and a mile-long walking path where mommies and babies can walk and get exercise, and solar-powered lights and a splash park for the kids in the summer. This rec center has a fully equipped kitchen where we teach healthy cooking classes. And there are so many other activities for adults like Zumba classes. And the teens have martial arts classes and arts and crafts, tutoring during the homework hour after school, and English classes. English is a second language for 3 levels of learning. We built a gym at the school and prevailed upon the school to keep it open for the adults at night. And we put in a broadband tower so the kids can be connected to the internet and the outside world. Can you believe it, that they weren't? And for the first time in many years, the children now have complete summer school and so many after-school activities they can't choose what they want to do. We also widen the streets, put in bike lanes, sidewalks, gutters, stop signs, street lights, and put in drought-resistant plants on every street, with every street having a different colored tree to identify which street they live on. And with Wasco Affordable Housing, we're building 80 new houses that are subsidized by the USDA, and those that want to can relocate from the dilapidated trailers and rundown houses for even less money than they're paying the slumlords. And with the Dolores Huerta Foundation, we conduct house-to-house meetings and community forums, and we're teaching the residents how to have a voice, how to talk to each other, and how to have a voice to the community and to the county. We want them to gain leadership and confidence on their own behalf to be able to advocate, participating in elections and not be overcome with fears of immigration, to communicate with the county on environmental and health issues. We know that building leadership from within the community is an essential part of our efforts, and it's the only way to make the community sustainable. And the local youth has just come alive with all of this. They've started several organizations on their own. They have a book club that they call the Page Turners, where they teach young kids how to read. And they have a youth leadership organization that they called Lost Hills Generation Found. I actually started crying when they told me that was the name. And we did it all with them in less than 2 years. So this is to show you what private enterprise can do when you put your minds to it without having to go through the red tape of government. So next time you're driving down Highway 45, if you're leaving Paso Robles or somewhere else, and you see the Lost Hills Park, just think about all this, because it's been a complete metamorphosis. I believe that everybody wants to be a good citizen, and when we see a problem, we want to fix it, but often people are at a loss to know what to do to help. That's why the Junior League is so important and so valuable, because you show others the way. I'd like to end with a quote from a new book from Alexander McCall Smith, one of his Isabel Dalhousie novels. And this is what she said. She's a philosopher. And she said, "It was privilege that determined where so many of us ended up in life. It has nothing to do with merit. It has to do with privilege." Or putting it another way, it was a matter of accident or luck. To be born in circumstances where one has enough to eat was the resounding first piece of luck. And good luck could be piled upon from that point onward, to be given a good education and not to be struck down by debilitating illness. So we're all so lucky, and everyone in this room is so privileged. Don't we owe it to the world to find a way to share and give back? Thank you.